welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, man. It is our esteemed pleasure. It is our honor. It is the immaculate conception in person that has tapped into and leaped into the line, man. And you know when you named after one of the gods, don't y'all get fooled now. Them Greek gods, there ain't no such thing, no Greek gods. Them were African gods. You know what I'm saying? They took the African gods, flipped them names on around. You know what I'm saying? Right now, ladies and gentlemen, we got the man, the myth, the legend himself. Hey, man, this brother's playing a role with Quincy Jones. You know you the bomb when you can play Quincy Jones. You ain't seen no Quincy Jones character this move around. Okay. Dude, this ain't Lifetime TV either, baby. You know what I'm saying? We out here in the musical. You know, we out here doing the Wizard of Oz. You know, shoot. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the show, man. Young king, young fly, fresh individual brother crossing he's just transporting his great essence across the sky like the great god Apollo. Please welcome Apollo Levine. What's happening, man? What's going on with your brother?
Man, nothing much. Just sitting at the theater, just getting ready for tonight's show. But outside of that, you know, just chilling. How you doing?
Hey, man, I'm good, man. Hey, man, let the cherry down. Let me ride, brother. Let me ride. You know, I just want to pick up a lady or two. That's all. Just one or two. We good. Shoot. You might have a lady. What else you got going on? I don't want to put that on you. So, ladies, and they ain't talking about him. I'm talking about me.
You are good. You are good.
I want to get smoke on, you know what I'm saying, before the show.
Nah, hey, you know, no swinging over there. It ain't gonna come my way. I promise.
Great, man. Apollo, where you from originally, my brother?
I'm from Abbeville, Louisiana, so down by Lafayette, Shreveport area. So that's where I'm originally from. And then we kind of moved when I was younger. So I grew up a lot of my life in the Midwest, from South Bend, Indiana. If anybody knows Notre Dame. That you know, that's the area I kind of grew up in. So I'm a Southern born and Midwest raised, I always say. Yeah.
Ain't that, man, you know what I'm saying? Got a little collard greens, a little horseback riding, you know what I'm saying? Dude, they tried to trick us. Apollo, the real cowboy, was a black man. You know what I'm saying?
That part. Listen, I still got him in my family.
Hey. You know what I'm saying? Hey, shoot, you know what I'm saying? I better watch out, man. Don't y'all come on here playing with Apollo. Shoot,
right.
We about that. You know what I'm
Listen,
saying?
we about that life. We about that life over here.
Apollo, what led you into acting, my brother? Was it some movies you watched back in the day? What's some of your influences?
Listen, I will say, it honestly was my kind of my fourth grade teacher. I've always been like a big movie buff. Color Purple is probably one of my favorite movies. But then, I mean, when you see people like, for me, it's like Samuel L. Jackson. Don Cheadle is my favorite actor. When you see casts like that, and I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You're like, man, you see a black man on stage or on the screen, and you're like, I think I want to do that. I think I could do that. And this was when I was 7, 8 years old. Then when I was in fourth grade, my music teacher, there was fourth graders weren't supposed to be in show choir, but she saw me in choir cutting up and clowning. And she was like, no, this boy can really sing. He can dance. And called my parents. I thought I was in trouble. She pulled me from recess and was like, yo, can I keep him after school for show choir? And that's how I kind of got into musical theater. And I was still a big, like, heavy sports kid. I still played baseball, ran track, wrestled and everything. But something always was like, nah, I like being on stage. And one thing kind of led to another. The end of my college career, I was in my senior year and financial aid didn't work out. So I was like a semester away from graduating. And they were like, you know, you can't finish out. And I was like, okay. And I looked up what was around me, and there was a theater auditioning for a show there. And I auditioned there. And the woman at that point in time was Clay Aiken's voice teacher. And she was like, oh, you need to do this for a living. And she sent me into the next room. And the next show that I went out for, I booked, and it kind of went I was about to say downhill, but it kind of went uphill from there. That's what I've been doing for the last 15, 20 years of my life.
Wow, man, that's dope. Thank you for sharing that with us, because we do got younger brothers that watch the show, and brothers that have talent like yourself. They may be in fear or not have the courage at the time to step out and be a thespian, the actor, somebody to be on screen in our communities, I don't care where you're from, like you said, Midwest to South to wherever, we got this thing like, oh, that's not something that we're supposed to be doing. You're
Right.
supposed to be rapping and hooping. But I met a brother who was a ballerina, and the cool brother. He taught even they're doing another musical with Michael Jackson too as well, where he was one of Michael Jackson's teachers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I love to see that with you brothers, that you all are able to transverse everything that said that we don't supposed to be doing it, which we're the creators of it. So therefore we doing it again. Man, y'all like stars within yourself. You are a star just like the star we look up in the sky that we see. You are just as big, as bright as the rest of these people out here. And that's amazing. It's dope to meet you on this journey.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Thank you.
So
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? You're doing MJ the musical. We know a lot of MJ's the man. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. There's a lot of MJ's that's out there, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So what did Michael Jackson mean to you as a young, because you're still young, but as a younger man growing up, seeing the moves, them dead, what did all that mean to you?
I mean, I think anybody, when you look at the Jacksons period, it was like they were Black music royalty. And to see that, and then to see them all kind of break off and do their own thing, but Michael especially, I mean, you talk about this man he's a world citizen. There's not too many people that we could say are world citizens. I don't care how big an artist gets or how big an actor gets or a politician or whatever. This man was a world citizen, and it means he touched so many people. And I mean, I've been in gas stations since I've been a part of this show. I've been at gas stations or restaurants that's not even playing pop music, and a Michael Jackson song will come on or a J5 song will come on. There are artists that make you remember exactly where you were when you heard something, or you remember how you feel, and it's like no matter how old you were when you heard a particular song. Michael Jackson, just creator and so brilliant at what he does. One of the quotes that we get in the show, it's like on the scrim of the show, he says, study the greats and be greater. Who says that, let alone does it? Like, there will never be. There might be close to, but he was just this iconic man in his time that nobody will ever touch, and you can learn so much from that.
No, you're right. You're right. Thank you for saying that. You are absolutely right. That leads us to tell us, and you said something that's brilliant too. Even as a hidden secret gem, be yourself. You ain't got to be
Yeah,
right. You ain't got to be
that's it.
called. You know what I mean? No comparison. Apollo, is Apollo. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Still is the man. He still needs to have books and lessons. Man, he could even teach your life in school.
Yeah,
That's how dope and divine and cool that you are. Even your essence that you're leaving on the planet, it's going to feed a whole nother generation you probably will never meet. They'll study your techniques.
that's dope. I think one of the biggest things about getting this show is my first Broadway show. But I have a song. I have a solo moment in the show as Quincy. And one of the brothers, that's, we call them swings, they come in and they if any of us are out, they just jump in on stage, any given day, any given time. But he was auditioning for another show, and he said, yo, I just want to let you know I'm doing your cut of the song that you do in the show. And I was like, what? And he told me again. I was like, yo, that's crazy. I never thought that somebody else would be singing the song that I'm singing or I'm originating. I mean, it's a Michael song, but I get to put my own spin on it because of how we do it in the show. But it's crazy that somebody else would be looking, to me for something like that when I was doing the same thing growing up. Like, Michael Jackson, Brian McKnight, Quincy Jones, like anything and everybody. Like I said, Don Cheadle, like you glean from all these people, and now in return, without even knowing, I'm giving that same energy back out into the world. And I love that. Like it's all about, if you receive giving that back out to the universe, and for those who need it. And you, like you said, you may never know the people that take away, that, but it's there. And if you are a good steward of what you do, then you want to give that back. because it helps grow the next person or the next generation. I'm here for all of that.
Amazing. Not I agree with you. You just like a tree. You know, you're bearing fruit to future generations, which will be firmly rooted into your foundation. Everything that from your imagination is like it was already written in the stars for you to be who you are. At times it seemed like when you was lost, you know, when you wanted to do this, but then you started doing that. Now you're an actor, now you're a singer, but you also want to play sports too. It's like all your destiny was written on some great big paper, you know what I mean? Like, or in some great book, big book with multi books for like to represent the multiverse in that sense. And you could have chosen any path to make you great, but this is the path that you needed to be in. So
Yeah.
at this point in time in history, it's like you're almost like a Moses, really. You know what I'm saying? I know your name is Apollo because you're up in the chariot flying throughout the sky. You know, you're flying throughout the sky, people's minds. You know, Apollo, some people that look like us, that come from us, where we come from, our minds are in the wilderness. And we need that big, iconic uh, explosion. We need that sign. We need that symbol. We need that
Yeah.
thing to know that this is the way, and go your way, young man, and be as great as you are, despite your circumstances. Even though you're not born in Hollywood, you're not born to a Hollywood family. You don't have all the connections that you need. You just need to follow what's inside of you, your chariot, your heart that's leading you into a great direction, like you.
Yeah, very true. I totally agree with that. Um, there was a point in time, and I told my parents at one point in time, I never saw myself past 35. I didn't understand that, and I didn't even know why. But it just seemed like when I dreamed, and I mean, I dream big and I dream hard, but I could not see my life past 35. Um, and then I turned 35 and everything changed because it was like all the things that I needed to learn, and I'm still learning. I am such that person in a place of wanting to learn, of growing, but it's like my whole life got open, and I needed to go through all of those things before, just to make it to understand where I was going to next and where I was headed to. So I'm all about that, being on your journey, about you on your path, now not allowing people to take you off of that, even though they don't understand the vision, they don't understand your thoughts or the process that you're going through. Sometimes you got to stand alone, and then I feel like God, the universe, will place people and things and whatever is needed at that time, to help you move on into the next space in your life. So yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. That was dope. That was smooth. Thank you for dropping them gems out there for the young ones and the ones that's in the dark coming into the light. Now, I want to go back to just a moment because I know you got to get ready for your play, your musical. So I'm thinking about when we look at Quincy Jones, which oftentimes, because we don't know his full story, as I've been learning about him, he definitely needs his flowers. This man has created all of the likes of the Michael Jacksons in the world and a whole host of other people writing and composing music. What did you learn about Quincy Jones that you probably didn't know before you got into this character?
I mean, before I even got into this show, I mean, you think Quincy Jones, and my thing was understanding who he was, because I didn't, when I was growing up, somebody said, my fourth grade teacher again, oh, Miss Leininger, she put on the Wiz, and this is me being like one or two black kids in my class, but she put on the Wiz. And she told me, she pointed out who Quincy Jones was. Everybody that came, that's Diana Ross. Like, I know who Diana Ross is and all that, and Michael Jackson. And she was like, that's Quincy Jones. And I'm like, wow. And then you get to know, like, he's all these people that he's helped kind of create, not just musically, but like Will Smith and, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and all these kind of other things. But one of the most iconic things, I did not know that this man used to be basically the like the director of music basically for Frank Sinatra.
Wow.
Like, that's how he kind of started, and then became the first black to do the whole Academy Awards. Like, this man, and continuously to this day, is still helping new artists helping build their careers, their sound, their music. Like it, and it's just crazy that 70 plus years, this man has been in the business and continuously still working, and not just working, but like what you see out there, what you hear again, Thriller, like what you hear and what you see is a lot of what this man has done.
That's amazing, man. And then think about all of the like the racism and the prejudice that he had to face. I know because
Oh,
you
yeah.
go into that your research. Isn't that amazing how you just won't take no for an answer? And for his life, it was divine and it was destined even for him to come and be who he is, so you can come and be who you are. Ain't that
Yeah,
something?
right. I it is something like when I see like what's happening to my life now, just based off of being this man on stage 8 times a week. I've been in this show. I came into the show in 2019. We just recently, of course, the pandemic and everything, we weren't able to go up then. So we just started back in October of last year, and then started previews in December. So I've been with this character, and it's not like he's passed on. He's a living legend. Like, he's still here. But I've been in this role since, basically December, in front of audiences, and how my life has changed. And I mean, career wise, how I think about perspective. I follow him on Instagram. I've gotten books now from him, like, just to take away some of the things, to understand his thought process and how he goes into things. I'm like, all I get is he's just a fearless man. And that's how I want to approach stuff. Like, sometimes you don't have all the tools, or you don't know, but having the fearlessness, just going in and saying, here I am, and being present. And in that moment, everything else reveals itself as you step into where you're supposed to be and in your purpose.
Ooh, some good scenes right there. Hopefully y'all see this, like this right here. You know what I'm saying? That's some good scenes. You need to sprinkle them. You know what I'm talking about? Baby. You know what I'm saying? Apollo, I had give y'all some good game, good wisdom. I ain't gonna hold you too much longer, my good brother. Just a few more things before I let you go. You know what I'm saying? Did you get a chance to meet Quincy? Have you met the Quincy Jones yet?
So here's my thing. At the time that I booked this show, I wasn't really allowed to tell anybody what I was doing. Um, I was living in LA. I flew to New York to do the lab for this. And in between the two labs that I was doing, I went back to LA just to kind of chill and be home for a little while. And I went to a jazz festival at the Hollywood Bowl. And just so ironic that I was talking to my friend with my back turned. And when I turned, I bumped into this guy. And when I looked up, it was Quincy Jones. And I was like, oh, Mr. Jones, hey, how you doing? He was like, I'm good, son. How you doing? I'm like, I'm good. He was like, all right, enjoy the music. And that's all I know of Quincy. Like, that's all I have. And I'm praying that at some point in time he'll come to see the show. But yeah, I felt like it was kind of almost like, okay, I'm on the right path, because you book a show and again you're playing a living legend. You're like, okay. But then just kind of bumping into him, I was like, okay, maybe this is, again, God, the universe telling me, all right, we're here to do this. So yeah.
Hey, man, that's cool right there, man. I know, man. I know you're a strong guy, man. I know when you bump into you, just like,
I became a little kid all over again. Oh, Mr. Jones. Hey.
My name is Quincy. Oh, your name is Quincy too?
Right.
I don't know.
I mean, you're Quincy. I'm Apollo. I mean, I know who you. Yes, sir. Like, yeah, definitely that. Very funny.
That's some good stuff, yo. I think you should do like a reenactment on that on your social media.
I may have to. I may have to.
Dude, that's speaking of social media. Oh, wait, social media? You on TikTok? You on Facebook? Where you at?
I am on Instagram at only Apollo Levine. And everything else is the same. TikTok, Twitter. Even though I don't really do anything on Twitter, Instagram is where you basically find me. Facebook, same thing. Apollo Levine. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
Okay, cool. Paula Levine, if we may, before we let you go, we've got to do two more things. But before we go, can we get you to say you're on My Celebrity Life? And I am Holla. I appreciate you. Just let people know the show.
You said one more time. Give it to my.
I'll move fast. The name of the show is called My Celebrity Life, and I'm GeHolla. So if you could just let the people know that you're on My Celebrity Life with GeHolla.
Yo, this is Paula Levine. I'm on My Celebrity Life with GeHolla.
Cool. I appreciate you. All right, we got to play a quick game. I ain't gonna hold you too much longer. All right,
okay.
Let's get. This is the game of sevens. You know what I'm saying? Apollo, since you one of the gods, you named after one of the gods. We're going to stamp you with the number 7. Now, when you study the number 7 in the cultic or esoteric teachings or spiritual teachings, we find that the number 7 is created around health, wealth, peace, and prosperity. You know, even when we look in like a book called the Bible, we see where God rested on the 6th. And then, stopped on the 6th and rested on the Sabbath. We notice even when people play lottery and things of that nature, it's always something centered around 7. I know like dice is 7-11. They play it in the hood, you remember, and they play it anyway, you know what I'm saying? Or they push the button and the 7s come around. Typically it's 7 or 11, but we're going to just stick with number 7. Then we also know when we look at the number 7, when it's mirrored or inverted, it creates this. So then when you take 2 7s together and put them together, we create the diamond structure. You know what I'm saying? One of the strongest structures that there is on the planet. Also, with that powerful number 7, it's built off of right angles. Everything in nature can be found off of a right angle. It's everywhere, even stuff that we make. Well, getting to the point of creation, getting to the point of wealth and health and peace and things of that nature, Apollo, you're tasked to find 7 people of all time that's living or dead, because you have the ability, if they have passed on, to bring them back. We're going on your world tour. We're going on the Apollo World Tour. It could be a musical. It could be a movie. It could be anything in arts and entertainment that you would like it to be. I want to know what 7 people, living or dead, throughout all of time would you take with you to create a musical, a movie, or anything with entertainment in it. And think about it. Get started.
Okay. Like I said, Don Cheadle out the gate. I would have to say, because I'm so in love with this woman, Tina Turner. Nelson Mandela. Whoopi Goldberg. Fantasia Barrino. Jasmine Sullivan. Yaya.
Thank you so much, my brother. I salute you, young king. Please keep doing your thing. You're awesome, dope, and amazing. If you have anything that I have missed that's coming out, I'm gonna give you time to speak on it before we get out of here.
Just be on the lookout. I have new music coming out towards the end of the year. And we're working hard over here. We're walking in purpose. That's what it is. So just be on the lookout for me.
Absolutely. Keep shining, young king. We salute you, man. Keep doing your thing. You always welcome here. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
The God Apollo in the building. Tear down the walls, man. Keep doing your thing, my brother.
All right. Thank you so much, G.
All right. Salute. Peace. We out, y'all. Holla.
A shout out to Ge.Holla and
hey, GeHolla, G.Holla.
Ge.Holla, Charlamagne the God here, man. Salute to you.
Cynthia Bailey from The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and I'm sending a shout out to GeHolla.
all y'all said entertainers, shout out my guy Ge.Holla of my